Hey yearbook staff, sorry I'm not there, but you are in great hands with Miss Rust. I was just going to explain to you the ladder hard copy lesson that I want you guys to do. This will help you understand how you want the book laid out, and it also helps you kind of realize how many pages just the student pictures are going to take. So here's what you're going to do. Miss Rust, feel free to pause this as we go along. First, I want you to get with a partner. Each of you will have this sheet that Miss Rust has printed for you. And then I want you to get a yearbook. This is that one that I told you about that my last school designed. We actually designed everything from the cover. So you need to get a yearbook. If there's not enough yearbooks in the classroom for you guys to work as partners, then get in groups of 3, 4, whatever. But everyone in the group needs this sheet. Okay, what you're gonna do with the sheet, you're gonna just start with what each page is. So you don't have to mark cover. There's not gonna be a block on here for the cover page, because that is its own thing that you guys have already decided. Looks great what Miss Russ sent me. I think that that's a really good cover. So what you're gonna do, first couple of pages typically are for signatures, so you don't need to write that. So the first page for this one, their cover page, that's all you have to write down. This was their cover page. So on your handout, this block that's by itself, that's because that's a single page by itself. So what I would write on there is cover page. So I'm not writing any specifics, I'm just writing that first page. When I'm looking through the book, the first thing I see is what would be considered the cover page, title page, however you want to call it. When I flip to the first double page, here's your handout. So the first double page, they did superlatives. So they did 8th grade superlatives on this page and this page. So again, on my handout for page 2, they had superlatives, and on page 3, superlatives, because it ended up being a double page. So on my handout, I have cover page is 1, superlative is 2, superlative is 3. Then you flip to the next page. I see there's an introduction to 8th grade. So page 4 is 8th grade intro page. Page 5 starts their student pages, so student pictures. And that's going to continue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So student pics continued. So you're gonna write that down like this. So I'm not going through and listing anything specific. I'm just mapping out what one of these old yearbooks had. So at the end, after you've gone through the entire yearbook, it'll look something like this. So for that yearbook you just saw, when I got to the end, I realized it only had 52 pages. The yearbooks you're looking through are probably going to have more, like what I gave you, 72, because I think that's what we decided this year. We would have 72 pages. So that's probably been what Leland Middle has done in the past. So if you have a Leland Middle School old yearbook in front of you, you're probably going to end up filling up all of these blocks. If you have a random yearbook that was just an example in the box, you might find, like I did, when you get to 52, there's nothing, that's the end of the book. So your page would look more like this. So the interesting thing when you get done is you're going to start to notice some things like student pictures takes up a lot of the yearbook. And it'll differ this year. We might have more students. In fact, I think we do than last year. So that means of the 72 pages, you might have more student pages this year than they did last year. But what we can do later, this is for us to decide later, is you can change the size of the pictures. So right now, in this particular yearbook, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pictures across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pictures down. We could have made the spacing between the pictures smaller. We could have made the picture smaller, added another row, got rid of some of this margin. We can do all that once we figure out how many pages we want to give each grade level. So if you're going, once you fill out your sheet like this, then we'll start having discussions on how we want to handle the pages in the yearbook, because you don't want your whole yearbook to just be these student pictures. You want to have some fun stuff in there, things documenting the year, documenting 2018 and 2019, so we can, again, determine our student page amount just by changing the size and stuff of the pictures. So once you do this layout by hand, you're going to understand where we want to go next with the book. Also, as you're going through and you find pages that are extra pages, like in this yearbook, some of the pages that we did as extras were things like, let me see, they did this, like a fill in the blank. So it was actually like when you got your yearbook, you could fill in things or let your friends fill in things. So that was kind of fun because it was interactive. Or they did extra pages like, they did a celebrity lookalike. So they took celebrities or cartoon characters or something, and then they found somebody in the school that looked like that person. So they did celebrity lookalike. On this page, they just did, people could send in pictures, and then we picked ones to use in the yearbook. So your extra pages, as you're going through, you kind of think about what you're seeing, because that'll help us decide what we want our extra pages to be. Usually the last page of the yearbook is credit to you guys, the yearbook staff. This year, this particular yearbook, they each got their own little app to do a crazy picture in or something. But you can do the yearbook staff recognition page however you want to. Kind of, normally I try to make it go along with the theme. So I'm not really sure what theme you guys decided on, but we could do your recognition page based off that. So I'm going to send Miss Rust this copy of what I did, just going through this particular yearbook. You're going to do the same thing, each person writing in your group, figuring out what you've got, and then whoever is in charge of and I cannot remember right now who's in charge of academics, but whoever's in charge of academics, one of your first tasks needs to be talking with Miss Lori in the front office and finding out currently how many students are in 8th grade, 7th grade, and 6th grade, because we need those totals so that we can figure out how many student pictures will be on each page per grade level. So that's a little assignment for you. And I think that's about it. Another thing you're gonna notice on here, you got to think about it, like in this yearbook, we limited the sports teams to 1 page. In years before this particular yearbook, each sports got 2 pages. Actually, it was kind of unfair because they let like football have 2 pages, they let basketball have 2 pages, volleyball got 1 page, cheerleading got 1 page. So one interesting thing about that is if you let all the sports teams have 2 pages, then again, you're getting rid of a lot of the fun pages that students who don't play sports are wanting to see. So just be careful, as you're going through this, notice things like that so that we can make this yearbook even better than the ones in the past. Okay, so you got a big task ahead of you, going through the yearbook, laying it out. After you get done laying it out, try to have a class discussion on things you saw that you definitely want to keep in this upcoming yearbook, things that you would like to change, how many, on average, 8th grade, how many pages it's taken for student pictures, on average, how many it's taken for 7th, on average for 6th. And then academic index editor, you guys need to get with Miss Lori and get those numbers, because that will help too. Once we figured all this out, then I can go into the computer and assign you guys your pages, and you can start experimenting with the computer system. And with Kent coming this week, that would be great if you can get this done so that I can have you assigned by Wednesday, and while he's there you can at least have access to your page to kind of follow along with him on learning the computer system. Okay, if you have questions, you can pass them through Miss Rust, or she probably has answers herself. So, but if it's something I can help you with, I definitely will. Hope you guys are doing good, and hope to see you soon.